Good morning, Turtle Club. How is it going? We have a special edition of Mag vs. Wild. We have not streamed Dark in a little bit, and life has been kind of hectic. I mean, you can even tell behind me I have no green screen. You can see a couple things in the back corner there. It's some of my electronic stuff and a little bit of Digrett's exercise equipment, and you know, some neat stuff. But what we're going to be doing today is we're going to actually be starting a server from start to finish using arcservers.io, and we're going to be exploring Genesis. So it's going to be kind of a special thing because we have a couple people that ask certain things. Now, one thing I do want to mention, twofold. Number one, I am a grandfathered account on the actual Arc servers. As a thank you to all of the people who started with them forever ago, when they did have a slight adjustment on the cost, it's now $16 a month instead of $14 a month. They let the old people like myself, I think there was maybe 10 or 15 of us, keep their old prices. So that's the reason why in this, I just wanted to make sure you guys are aware of that. In here, you are going to straight up see this other pricing. Second, full disclosure, I am a sponsored streamer from these guys. So you can see here we do have some invite links. We are permitted 3 servers. We have one for our Turtle Club members, we have one for our Brutal series, and we have the one that we're starting today. And I just want to show everybody here how easy this is. Once you get set up on the account, you get an 8-hour free trial. So once you get set up, it's real easy. You come into the servers tab, you hit new server with the choice of game in, and you can see here that Minecraft's coming soon. They haven't 100% given up on Atlas, but it's still one of those things that the guy who owns the company really wants to do Atlas, but he can't justify it right now, unfortunately. So Ark Survival Evolved is what we're going to be choosing here. We're going to hit New Server, and it's going to ask us for what's going on. So we're going to call this We Can't Dance, just to show you guys how easy this is. And we're going to go up to on the Genesis map, so you'll see here all your official maps were chosen right away, and then hit you can choose what player. I do have just 60 slots. Our community is small, so we're fine with that. So just hit create server, and I mean right then and there, it's actually back end of everything is just kind of working on stuff. The next thing you can do is customize your website. So you see that the URLs we usually have. So we're going to do CT Gaming G for Convertible Turtle Gaming Genesis. And it's the server we are creating for our Genesis playthrough, which will be open to the public. So you'll notice here, open to the public. That means anybody can join on it. And we're going to let the public, through comments on these videos and through live chat with us, kind of give us an idea of what kind of mods, if any kind, they want. The one thing we will do, though, is we're actually going to go to the style here. But the forum thing, it's really bad. It's there as just as a nice kind of feature for people, and so you can have some kind of conversations. Just to give you an idea, the forum looks like this. And one of the things that I do for the community here is I actually do help people with issues. But it's just a real basic forum. And when you go in here, I mean, all you can do is post reply. And when you post reply, you can't even delete stuff. So it is one of those things that I know that they're wanting to eventually improve upon. But for now, it's really on the lower end of the burner. So it does take a little bit for this to set up, because what it's doing right now is it's actually creating the directory, the file structure, the tree structure. It's actually copying over the files. It's installing Arc. So while this is going on, we're going to go ahead and also be a little bit smart here, and we're going to open up Arc ourselves. And we're just going to go ahead and quickly sign into our Steam name, which you guys all know. And something that you guys don't know, and I would be quite okay with no one else knowing as well, is which Steam randomizer password we use right now, because that is something that can be reverse engineered with enough effort. And this is what I was probably afraid of. Thinking about it here. View, games, files. Go to our download organizer here, because it's probably taking forever. We had a power outage in a while back, and I just never managed to get my computer back on. So looks like we got, not too bad. It's go ahead and just drop this down here. 574.5 before this thing becomes playable. So we'll just minimize that, and we'll say launch the game as soon as it's ready, and we'll be pleasantly interrupted when that happens. Now this page here does update automatically, like once every couple of minutes, but you can go ahead and click on servers and it'll say starting, but you can already get into this while it's starting. So server description, basic tab, advanced tab. You'll see things like your IP address, game port, query port, Archon port. These are for when you're wanting to be able to sign in. It's the IP address and the query port. Certain devices or programs out there may need your game port, and Archon port is when you're using Archon. This right here will be the Archon password. So Archon is just being able to do things remotely. So, and it's alright, so basic is just your basic stuff, your map, max dino level. We're okay with it being higher than that. We're gonna go ahead and hit 150, and we're just going to save settings, save and restart would restart the server, but we're not all the way up there. So these are, again, basic stuff that we're going over right now. Always update, auto update when server's empty, never auto update. This is the recommended in my opinion. Auto update when server is empty. It makes it a little bit easier for you to manage. If you do set it up, in-game warning, minutes, always update before shutting down the server. It can glitch sometimes, number one. Number two, if you're in the middle of doing some stuff on your server, sometimes you just don't want to be booted off. So, and that's going to be kind of a whatever you want to do, right? Max players, you can adjust that. If you're wanting to be a bit more resource intensive with your server, with what you're setting with Arc servers, you can change this a whole lot to be 30 people instead. And that will allow you to, you know, basically tax the server a bit more than if you were to have 60. We just keep it at 60 because we try to keep our server a bit manageable. Where the real magic kind of begins, though, with this particular panel, in my opinion, and we'll go ahead and blow that up so you guys can see it a little bit better, is under the Advanced tab. This is where you get all of the real cool stuff here. And this is some pretty basic settings, right? And you can go through and configure all of these. PvE mode, admin logging, how the baby imprinting works. I mean, anything that you can basically think of that is commonly used in Arc, no undermesh killing. If undermesh checking is enabled, players will be killed. So it even does this. You can, and it's off by default. No undermesh checking's off. This is basically to avoid some horrible things happen. But if you turn this off, and then if you leave that off, that means if somebody undermeshes, even accidentally, they automatically die. We have a pretty chill community, so we usually kind of keep that the way it is. And again, all these different settings that you could have inside the game. Server game logs, if you want, Archon output tribe logs. You can actually force the no heads up display. There's a lot of just really gnarly stuff you can do. I'm just going through here to see if there's anything else that's kind of interesting here. Use corpse lifespan multiplier. The corpse and drop delete and box lifespan. You can actually just adjust that if you'd like. But so that's the, you know, Advanced tab is basically all these common settings that people like to mess with. Now there is an Expert tab, and the Expert tab has a pretty bare bones looking thing, But this is going to be if you want to whitelist your server to only let people join on. That's your whitelist. You just type in the Steam IDs right there. As far as loud cheater Steam IDs, this list of Steam IDs will have admin privileges, which means they're automatically admins. This is where you'd go to edit your game INI and your game user settings INI. This particular host, because they have this advanced panel and they actually generate the INI files every time the server reboots to make sure your settings are applied correctly, it is one of those things that you want to make sure that you are not putting any of this information that's here as far as INI flags and the expert settings. You can even preview these to see what they look like. So, I mean, all your multipliers, all your stuff from that goes into the game INI is here. And then for all the stuff in the game user settings INI, if you go over here, all those are there too. So you don't even have to think, which INI does that go into? Well, it doesn't matter. It goes into whichever one you want. So those are the two most common tabs that people, kind of go, what do I need to do in here? But the one that most people have zero problem with, straight up, is what to do in the mods. And in mods, we're going to go and start off with our death recovery mod. Right here. Installing mods is real simple. Click install. Bam. Right there. Pulls it up there. If you're not subscribed to it, you can simply click on details. It'll pull up the actual Steam page. And if you're subscribed to it, it'll tell you if you're subscribed or not. I think we're just going to grab this tab here again. Try to keep our account as safe as we can, guys. Alright, signed into Steam so you guys can see that there. And you'll see that we're already subscribed to it because this is a mod that we use heavily. But what's really cool about this is any mod that you come across that you want to learn anything about, see anything about, let's say that, the one that we always recommend is TC's Auto Rewards. There's the beta test branch because that's the way it pulls up. But if you do just Auto Rewards, it'll show you the non-beta. And you go details, you can see all the real cool stuff that Timmy Carbine's been doing on the actual rewards mod with the post there, some currency, income systems. He also is a hosted account with ARC servers. So there is a myriad of just really cool things with the mod side. But we try to, when we first start on a new map, a new server or anything, we try to do really basic. So speaking of really basic stuff, right, and things that are kind of cool. So we have several other servers. So you're like, well, what if you're doing like a cluster? Well, there's a cluster tab. Bam. You can automatically choose which servers you want to cluster the server with, and you can tell it which of their actual hosted machines you want to move to, and then build the cluster. It'll automatically build the cluster. Hey, McAdoo, how's it going? We're in the middle of an ARC update. It's going to take a little bit, but it's going to launch it when it's ready. Hello, Andrew Raver. Hope you're having a good day today. So, as far as mods go and server flags and all sorts of stuff, we want to try to, as good as much as we can, we want to try to experience the Genesis vanilla kind of side of things. So we're not going to really mod this server out to begin with for today's stream. I just want you guys to be able to see, as far as managing the server goes, how awesome a lot of this is. Now, the other thing that I want to show off, though, is because, clusters usually have similar settings. So what we're going to do is we have a fairly decent settings that we have balanced out off of our Brutal Arc server. It would be really good if we didn't have to go through and fiddle and tweak all these, if we could simply just import those. And you'll notice on the Basic tab, we do have an option here for Copy Settings. Clicking on Copy Settings will let you choose the setting server you want to copy from. What are the stats of the server? Well, we're actually setting that up, Andrew. It's not been started yet. So our schedule actions, we're going to go ahead and copy those to our We Can't Dance server. Our mods, we're not going to copy because we already have our mod set up, so we don't want to change or overwrite that. Our expert settings, we're not adding any kind of mods So we really don't need any expert settings there. But our advanced settings we do want to copy over. And so we're going to copy those over. And once again, I'm just showing you guys what that looks like. So we're going to go back to servers for a second. We're going to go back to manage for We Can't Dance. I'm going to show you here just so you can get an idea. Like spectator password, server admin password, all those are currently empty. PvE mode is currently set to off. So just to show you how easy it is to copy this, we're going to copy our settings from Brutal. Again, not our mods, not our expert settings, just our schedules and just our advanced settings, and just switch it over to We Can't Dance. So copy. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to just for a brief moment move this on screen because it copies everything, and that includes the admin password. And so I'm gonna blank that out just for a second. And you can see here we got all those settings copied over. Shaky cam PSW for anyone who wants to do spectate mode. PV mode is now turned on. Allow anyone baby imprint cuddle. We have so many different adjustments from the actual basic ones. And let's say you're looking for a video that can make you laugh from not trying to laugh video, and you can't laugh. I always laugh listening to Siegel Stop It, the bad lip reading of Star Wars. But that's just me. But the cool thing here is if you choose the show only options you've changed, this will let you know any of the. It's not the official. I want to point that out. It's not the official. It's actually the WildCard basic stats. So allow flyer carry PvE we've adjusted. So these are all the things that we have toggled specifically on this server. So we have the server saving every half hour. We have 3 alliances per tribe. We have 10 people per tribe. We can have up to 300 personal dinos per person. I mean, we have made some adjustments to make this a little bit more friendly to the players. Our cycle is a little bit different here. That is something that we do want to adjust, but we haven't adjusted the nighttime cycle. Global spoiling timer, so things spoil less. A little bit extra experience for actual killing dinos. A little bit faster swim speed. A few things that actually make some sense there. So we're going to go ahead and toggle that off, and now we're going to go option search. If you just type in the search you're trying to find, it will only show you that option. So in this case, we're going to adjust night. So 14 minutes of real time of you guys watching me stumble around in the dark. So we want a value above that. So what I normally play with on stream is 1.5, 1.6, except for on the Brutal server because we really wanted that to be a little bit more aggressive. I'm thinking for Genesis, because I've been told night's kind of important, we're going to go ahead and set that to 1.4. And we're going to save our settings. We're going to go back up here so we can put in our admin password. And then we're going to do the option here for save and restart. So it's going to be setting up the Genesis server, and that's going to be loading up the actual server here. And it's going to take a little bit for it to fire up. Unfortunately for us, we're still waiting for Arc to do what Arc does, and that's throw lots of updates at us. Right now, we are looking at... we've downloaded a considerable amount, 405 meg out of 574 meg. So a lot of the percentage here is probably going to be hard drive speed, and we'll just have to see how that actually happens to hit us. And this right here, we made this page. You going to put Brutal on Genesis? No, McAdoo. For a number of reasons. Brutal's actually not good on Genesis. With the ocean biome and the moon biome and I want to say the swamp biome, those 3 biomes aren't really well suited for Brutal at the moment with the current methods that Timmy's using. So we're going to try to make this a little bit more laid back for the Genesis server. Looks like the game's writing its little. Oh, look at that! The write speed's just going there. All that wonderful disk activity. and now it's dying. It's like a watch kettle. It's not gonna produce any tea anytime soon. You wish your PC was fixed. I wish your PC was fixed too. It really is one of those things that, with the way the world works, right? We really, really kind of need at the moment something that we can do to kind of fill our time. Computers are great, cards are great, tablets, smartphones. I do have a game that I'm looking forward to playing on my smartphone. A new Final Fantasy Tactics game released. I have not seen any reviews about it. I have heard some people that are very cautious about it because there is going to be some microtransactions, as in like the game is built with microtransactions as like not the core of the game, but enough to where people are concerned. And that's a problem in my opinion, when companies go out their way to do that. But yeah, so we can see here that the status here on the server, it's setting up, it's starting to load. Here we go. And so if you go to this URL, the ctgaming.g.arkers.io, this is how you could initially get into the system. You just click here to play once you have the server up. So you'll see here the status here is displayed for that. It'll tell you exactly when we had it created and any mods that are here. And if you're on this page and you are wanting to preload the mods as we branch out with mods on the server, you can actually just click right on that icon. It'll take you right to the mod. So you can actually subscribe. It's recommended when you have a very large amount of mods on a server that you actually preload your mods by subscribing. You played Final Fantasy Tactics years ago, nothing like the full games. Oh, it's totally different. Totally different. Final Fantasy Tactics on PlayStation is my favorite game of all time, McAdoo. I love that game. The story was great. The way you could actually build all your different units out and how you could actually evolve them and how you could adjust them and gear them out and kit them out in different ways was amazing. I have real fond nostalgia hooks to it as well, mainly because my brother, my cousin, and we went in, purchased the game, and we spent the whole entire summer playing it. And there were certain weekends that my cousin would come over, and my brother, cousin, and we would play the video game, we would eat, we would, stay hygienic. But I don't remember much sleep over those weekends. So it was kind of neat because you had multiple characters on the field in a home where it was me, my brother, my sister, my cousin, my other 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 cousin sometimes. A game where you could have like 6 or 7 people playing and saying, well, my guy's going to move here, and because this person ate my macaroni and cheese yesterday, I'm going to hit them. And, kids are like that, right? We do goofy stuff. We do silly stuff. We do dumb things. But it was fun. I had some real good childhood memories doing that. Real good childhood memories. So this server is just about up. It's online now. It'll tell you the version of Ark. Now this is the Linux distro, and so it tells you the map. And what we can do now is we can go into manage, and we can see that we have our description there that we threw into it, because these are the server settings that we brought in from Brutal. And we're going to remove that because we do need to custom tailor that. Alright, and public Genesis Arc PvE server. Alright. We do not have Timmy Carbine's auto rewards on here yet, but we are going to make sure that's added there. You have the iPad PS3 to play on, but only Minecraft with PS3 as your oldest has your games. It's unfortunate, but PS3's got some neat stuff. It brought in the 600 max, so that's definitely an issue. We're going to save these settings. Now we're not going to restart, just saving it. So that description will be applied after the fact. Now, one thing to make sure when you do have the server up and running, you want to go to backups. You want to tell it to take a backup. And I tell it to take a backup every, and this is me, right? I'm going to say not every 30 days, but every 30 minutes. I'm going to skip an auto backup if nobody has been online since the last backup. I'm going to delete auto backups after 2 days. Now, they do charge for backups. This company charges 50 cents for 5 gig. But just to give you an idea, we're going to go to the Brutal Arc tab for our backups. We have 3 backups, and we do purge our older ones like every, if it's older than 2 days and it's not the most recent, it does purge it. And we haven't played Brutal in a couple days because we've been doing other things. But if you look, we do have some manual that we just delete. And just to give you an idea, these are 5 meg, guys. 5 meg. So think about that, right? The price for backups is 50 cents per 5 gig. I could have over 1,000 backups across my 3 servers, and at that point have to pay $1 instead of 50 cents. Why you would not, I still can't figure out. While there are some people who are using this service and simply don't use the auto backups, because it is such a huge benefit, especially if you know 0 about Arc server support, 0 about Arc hosting, 0 about setting up your Arc, 0 about server balance. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to put on mods that don't play well with each other. You're going to make settings that wind up with Dodo-geddon. Dodo-geddon's a thing. If you crank up your breeding capabilities and you manage to have 2 dodos on Wander, you could log off your server and there will be so many dodos on the server when you wake up the next day that you could potentially not be able to load into your server until you use Archon to kill all the dodos. And I mean that. Kill all the dodos. Everybody's tamed dodo, dead. Now, if you got auto backup set up, you could find out, oh, well, this looks like it's a problem. It seems like I may be having an issue with something breeding all over the place. When did I go to bed? Okay. And then you can go to players, and you'll be able to see when's the last time a player came on the server. Like I said, it's been a while. And then you could go, okay, well, I need to roll back to that point. And then you can see what's going on. So speaking of what's going on, we go to our charts here, players. And what I try to do when I got a new server, guys, is I try to get a baseline. Current players online 0, that's not much of a baseline. But CPU, we can tell where our CPU usage is. So right now we got about 48% of our CPU. Now you can see these spikes. This is because this thing is downloading like crazy and installing like crazy. So you can see right about here is about 6-7 minutes ago when we said that the server was just about up because it was installing stuff, and then it flatlined down to there. So 48% of a single core. And it says it's about average. Yeah, usually anything around 70% or less is about average. And you go to memory, you can see memory usage. Your general Arc server is normally going to run just a little bit above 6 meg. And a heavily modded server, just to give you an idea, let's go to Clarence's Designer Island real quick. Go to our mods. We have 23 mods installed. We have over 1.7 gig. Charts, look at that memory usage. With all those mods running and all those mods cranking, we're only using about 2 gig additional. Yeah, just like leaving the auto breeder on your... Yeah, exactly. That will cause a number of just concerns. You'll see CPU usage. This server is real low because it's not being heavily utilized. And so this is a good troubleshooting issue tool when you know that you're having some problems. And here's the scheduling system here. This is a reboot. It automatically restarts in case there's players that have been binge playing on it every week, 6:30 a.m. Friday. And this right here will actually wipe the rock drake eggs and runs console command. you'll see here it actually runs this destroy fertilized rock drake eggs. And that's only on the designer island. Actually, I need to update that to also destroy wyvern eggs on this server, because yeah, it needs to be doing both of those. But it's been a minute since we played on the server as well. We leave it open so other people can enjoy it. Digrat occasionally gets on that server, very occasionally, like maybe once a month to feed some animals and then logs off. With Animal Crossing, she ain't getting on anytime soon, I can tell you that. But yeah, so you can see our memory usage here for just an idle server on Genesis, it's a little bit higher. Our core for our memory is a little bit higher than the island. So Genesis is a higher game though. We did import our actual server commands. This is the console. So you can actually do things like list players. It'll tell you if there's any players logged on. Get chat. It'll bring up any kind of actual information that's in the chat. Now, some of these are just non-responsive commands. So if you say but no response, there's no worry about it. There's no concern about it. This is the SFTP tab. We're not going to show that off because that is how, well, maybe we can. Let me see if I can hide stuff. Nope, we are not able to hide our user and password. So what can we do about that? It'll show you your username and password stuff. Let me see if I can maybe adjust the way that looks, maybe. No, even if I make it the smallest possible window of potential, you guys can still see it. So we're just drop down here so you can see. Here it tells you how to save files, how to migrate, edit your config files, uploading mods. This is a new thing for Arc servers. If you want to be able to adjust some of your files, you can say leave uploaded files intact. It's highly not recommended, because if you do that, you're going to wind up being kind of in a fix. And let's just see here. Go back to the basic tab, because speaking of fixes, if things aren't working the way you expect them to on this server, you can go to players. We have no players online. We have no recent players. We basically check and see if anyone's online. There's this button here, rebuild. When you click on rebuild, look what it does. It takes a backup of your save file, deletes all your server files, re-downloads them from Steam. Doesn't download them from a cache, it downloads them from Steam. Sets your server up from scratch. This is just if you had started the server at this moment. And then all your settings and saves are preserved. Your save files, your setting files, they're reloaded. Process could help fix problems caused by corruption of your game on disk. That happens. And then you can say never mind, go back. But rebuilding the server is basically like verifying your Steam files on your actual computer. That's another question that happens all the time in the Arc servers rooms. Is people are like, well, what's rebuild do? And it explains it there, but people want to be specific, right? So yeah, so we're getting there. I don't know why Steam Pipe is so slow. We had this scheduled to update slowly over time. The power outage happened. I was fixing all the other computers out there that I have in the home, in the turtle cave. And lo and behold, we didn't get them all fixed. Let's see here. Anything going on in that forum or that area? Nope. Okay. Hey, it looks like Mikey's working though. So awesome. Awesome. Okay. But yeah. So that's pretty much in a nutshell how setting up a server goes, and how getting it on Arc servers is pretty easy. We just kind of showed off the customization a little bit, but this is, it's like I said, it's real basic. Some people have been wanting to do something a little bit more. I have yet to find anything that allows you to kind of vamp it up a little bit. But for our needs, it's pretty easy, pretty easy going. Because the real cool thing about it is when you actually click the right place instead of clicking all over like a half-blind person. Click here to play will actually load up your Steam using the actual Steam Connect information. And if it doesn't work, you actually have that option too, to actually hit WinR on a Windows computer. It'll actually detect your operating system, so you know exactly how to put that in. But yeah, we're going to be waiting for this to come in, and it looks like it might be just best for us to end the stream here for right now, and then pick up as soon as it's done installing. That way we free up a little bit of bandwidth for this as well. So I will be back in probably about 20 minutes, Turtle Club, with actual game content and loading on this server. At the rate this is going, probably going to be what we're looking at. So thanks for watching this little how-to on create a server and join on arcservers.io. We will return with Mag vs. Wild Genesis. Alright guys, thanks for watching and have a good one.